what you told us about how you were taking the milk out when the shelling started. Now, can you go on from there?
Yes. So, just say something else. Oh, that's all right. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, and it was a lovely morning, frosty, and cold. I'd got my woolly hat on, and a big coat, and my boots buttoned up, and I shut the door. Didn't lock it in those days, you know. And I had to go across the little garden, through a little gate and got in the car. Turn and go into a Coast Guard station there, and like that. I just got halfway across there, and I heard the most awful noise. And I knew there was a lot of activity going on, you know, on the cliff. And I thought, well, what is the territorials doing this morning? By that, there was a terrible explosion. Cliff, stone, and rubber came cascading over. The can lid went falling. The can was full of dirt, and I was covered. Well, I stood a second, and I thought, well, what am I going to do with eggs? It must be the Germans. And by that time, I realised I mustn't stand there. So I just turned and ran back, round the corner, and got behind a very big galvanised egg shed, packed with egg. And I stayed behind there. In a second, of course, the second shell came. And the screaming over your head was terrible. And in a couple of minutes, or less than that, there was all the Coast Guard's wife and children came running out of the gate. They had no coats, no hats, no nothing on. And one of them had a piece taken out of her arm here. And blood was running down. Well, they weren't taking it out, they were just going. And I thought, well, I mustn't stay here by myself. I better follow. So I just got out onto the road when the third shell came and went through the alley wall. And they gained on me, you see. Some of them just had slippers on. And I was dressed for it, you know. And
delivering milk.
We got a little bit way on, and I was out of breath. With the, the sulphur and that, I was black and dirty. In a minute or two, there was, I don't know, 6 or 8 or 10, I couldn't tell you, soldiers and the same number of sailor boys, naval boys, come running after me. And they all passed me, of course, I couldn't go. And they all went right away on the road. And eventually one sailor boy came back to help me along. And we got away on the road towards Oscar. And there's a farm, dips down to the right, and it's behind a big hill. Well, Saltic Bay is away on the left, across the fields. And we're all going down there, so of course I followed. We got down there, it was a chin invasion for them, but they took us all in, gave us some tea. But you see, we haven't been there long before the shelling hadn't stopped. Everybody thought they'd been invading, they'd been landing in the boats, you see. But we didn't know, of course, what was happening. We stayed there quite a long time. Nothing happened, and nobody else came. I couldn't tell you how long we stayed there, but quite a long time. And then we thought we'd better be coming back and seeing what was happening. Oh, we should stay there more than an hour. Good bit more. And so eventually they all got trailed back again. And in that time, you see, the second shell, the first shell, the gun was too low, and I went in the ship. Well, that little bit of time that anybody had to get out, they were elevating their gun, and they got it too high the next time. You see, they had to come in too close. There was a very heavy mist, white fog, over miles of the sea, but it didn't reach the shore. And they, I think, were a bit panicky about coming in too far, you see, and get on the cliffs, or get on the rocks, I mean. Well, yes, the next one was too high, and it brought down all the telephone wires and poles, you know. And the man in the second house, he wasn't married. They had to live by themselves if they weren't married. And he just stepped out to his door, and one of the wires just about cut his head off. And something must have been fragments from the same shell, and I just don't know where the Boy Scouts were, but they were a little bit more to the left. But this Roy Miller was so wounded, his leg was so shattered that they had to take it off. But how they got him away, I just don't know. Whether somebody went for the ambulance or they made some sort of stretcher and carried him down the steps, I don't know how he got away. But however, he was the only one that was wounded, and the Coast Guard, of course, was the only one that was killed. But you see, if it hadn't been for this mist, they would have known just how they were. They wanted to be further out, and then we would have all been flattened, we would have all been gone.
That's what you know.
Yes, they would have had a good shot at us.
And what about the people all going down and going to pay money for carts to take them away? Was that in the town? When you came down into Whitby? Or was it on the cliff top?
No, that was in Whitby.
In Whitby?
Yes.
What
yes.
was happening?
You see,
Tell us about that then.
at that time of the morning,
What time of the morning was it?
about 9 o'clock.
About 9 o'clock.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
9 o'clock when it
yes.
started. But
We'll have the details of that at the Gazette office.
you see, that time of morning, all the milk floats, and there were quite a lot of farmers and milk sellers at that time. They were all in the town, and there was the heavy milk and heavy drays and that sort of thing. There was no motors in those days. And there was all these heavy motors, and all the horses started running away. And you see, it was all the men could do to be on their feet and hanging on to the reins, and then they were taking corners and they were just doing as they like with the horses, you know, but they had to keep them from running away altogether. And then every now and again the door would open and a woman would rush out, perhaps in her nightgown, and shout. She would give them any sort of money and they'd drive her into the country. Well, they couldn't control the horse, never mind, get her into the cart, you know. They couldn't to manage themselves. So that went on until the shelling stopped, you see. But still the horses were frothing and sweating and going mad and stamping. They had a job to get them away. But most of them turned and went home, you see, and see what was happening at home.
No place like home. What about your hearing? You said you couldn't hear for some days.
Oh, I couldn't hear. I could hear the shells, of course. You couldn't help to hear them.
No.
But I couldn't hear anybody talking.
Not afterwards.
It was just as
I
if
think it was the result of the shell bursting.
I'd plugs in my ears and couldn't hear anything. Not for a long time. I couldn't hear. I don't know if this is a natural thing or not, but
the concussion of the bomb.
Yes.
And the shell at least.
I just couldn't hear anything. I was sort of dazed altogether. When my husband got somebody, he had it up to find somebody to hold his enraged horse, you know, so he'd come up.
Where was he?
To see if I was.
He was in the town. Yeah, he was in the town delivering the milk.
Yes, he was in the town. I was on the tip-top.
There were all milk carts in those days. He used to take the milk.
He'd come up and he couldn't find anybody at all.
You were just taking the milk to the Coast Guard
Yes,
cottages, weren't you?
yes, I took it every morning.
It was looking up the hill, but luckily the shell hit the cliff, as you said. It was a bit low. It was remarkably lucid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonderful. You're a very, very good one to interview. No pauses, no messing about.
Where did you live at the time? Where were you living?
Can you hear? Your farm was next to the Coast Guard cottages, wasn't it?
Yes.
You know the district.
Yes,
Is it still there, the farm, or has it gone?
Yes. Abbey Farm, the
Abbey
cottage.
Farm.
Yes.
She lived at
And
Abbey Farm.
ours was a cottage in between that and the Coast Guard station. You see, it all belonged to the farm.
Yes. So the cottage was still there. And what happened to your cows? Did they stop giving milk or anything? Were they upset?
No, I don't think so. You see, the land went right down, to Saltwick and and they were
further away.
They were away out of
Yes.
it. Yeah. Then when he couldn't find anybody, he thought, well, we must have escaped somewhere or other and gone somewhere. And he didn't land back home for a long time. They say he had to get his pony settled down before he dare start doing anything. But he was a real good one. He would just stop anywhere where he was supposed to stop without being told.
Oh, yes. As Old Thomas did.
Then he was all upset like anybody else. But there's one thing I can't remember. There was a man called Tunmore, and I've lost my paper, you see. I've lost my paper, and I don't think what's going on. And I think he was killed. You see, most of the shells were going over the railway and over up that part of the town. One landed at Gromont.
Did it, as far as that?
Yes. Yes. And people left outside. There's a tunnel somewhere on there, and they all ran and got into this tunnel. I don't know where it is. But Mrs. Boyce was telling me that her mother said she had gone into this tunnel.
That's right.
Yes. And what happened to Gromont when the bomber did any damage, I don't know.
Well, if they landed in fields, you see, it breaks the explosion a lot.
Yes, but you see, the western part of the town wasn't getting the bombs.
No.
They were anchored rather in an awkward position.
Oh.
I think they were very disappointed that we weren't all wiped out.
What did people in the town think about the bombardment? What did they... Did they think?
You got to speak a bit nearer.
Sorry. What did the people in the town think about the bombardment? Did they think there might be another attack or an invasion?
Yes. Oh, yes.
So people would be very
Yes,
worried.
And they thought they were trying it on to invade, you see, them and going to invade. And that's what I think the idea was. But they didn't know that our ships were on their tail, you see.
Yeah.
But they've been too late to get caught up with them, you see. Well, they went from here to Hartlepool. Well, they didn't stop there long because I think they knew the time limit they had. Well, Hartlepool and the sea there are more on a level than they are at Whitby. And they had a fair go for a minute or two, and then they had to tail it as fast as they could.
What did people in Whitby think about the Royal Navy? Because people in Hartlepool, some of them were very cross that the Navy hadn't got the German.
Yes, well, I don't know really, but I don't really know what they did think, really. But, you know, there's some things you forget in 62 years.
Yes, that's true.
Was there any talk of spies, do you remember? Was there any talk of spies in Whitby?
Oh, yes.
Can you remember any of the stories?
You know, before bombardment, there was an awful lot of Swiss and Germans came visiting. There's a place called Abbey House up on the farms up there, and the Abbey House is away down here.
He's staying there.
I'm staying there.
Are you staying there?
Yes.
How funny.
I've got a job there at the moment.
He's working there for the summer.
Oh, well, there was an awful lot staying there, you know. Yes, an awful lot. Lot of Swiss. And they used to go out all over the country with, I don't know what they had, all photographing, you see, and all sorts of things they used to carry with them. I used to think they were very suspicious.
Before the war started. Before 1914.
No, it was...
Well, the Germans wouldn't have been allowed in after the war started.
Well, the Swiss would.
No,
Swisswood. Oh, Swisswood. Yes, of course.
Well, it was just the same before the Second World War, you see. They were round here in swarms and going all over the countryside, taking photographs and all sorts of things. And then they all disappeared.
Of course.
Yes. Do you remember the Rohilla?
Yes, it was on
The wreck of the Rohilla.
the Rohilla boat. The ship that got wrecked. Rohilla.
The hospital ship.
Yes.
You know about that?
Yes. Oh, yes. And that morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, it was a terrible night. And they jumped straight up in bed and the rocket went over the lifeboat. Oh, I said Germans.
Yes.
Then my husband thought to bed, he had jumped into some clothes, he had gone before I knew what time of day it was. And he got out into the field. I was running across Silliman, and black dark, there were no flashlights in those days, you know, anything like that. He ran into somebody and knocked them flying in the field. It was a doctor. He'd come in his car, you see, and he was going to see what he could do. Well, they got him up and we went off together.
Very useful man to knock down.
And that went on all that day and all that night and right up to afternoon the next day. It was a terrible thing. You couldn't keep away and you couldn't do anything. And there were so many people came, so many hundreds came from the country to see what was happening. Then the clip began to go.
Did it?
And the police
Wait.
had to come and cordon it off. It was a
Yeah.
time. But just, you see, you couldn't
Couldn't do
do
anything.
very much in the first place. After my husband was gone, there was a knock at the door. And these two men said, could I make some hot drinks? And could I lend them some blankets for the survivors? So I said yes. I said I'll be a bit before I get it ready. And they said, oh, we call back. Well, they called back and got these hot drinks and blankets, and off they went. Well, you see, the hot drinks, I mean, they were given simply, but I mean, they didn't get many surviving after that. No. And when you got your job done, you were down there. Silly it was, but I mean, you couldn't help it. And to watch men strip naked on that ship and jump into the boiling sea was just awful. It was just terrible.
Real drama, wasn't it?
And the wave just come like that. And there were no more.
No
It
more
was
survivors.
terrible.
Yeah.
And that was for the want of an auto.
They got one down from Newcastle eventually, didn't they? They got a motor lifeboat from Newcastle to,
Yes,
to
yes.
put oil on the
Yes,
water.
but that was a bit late, you see. Yes, a bit late. And they did save some, of course. I mean, what was brought ashore was brought naked, and it was terrible. It was bitterly cold.
Only just alive.
Yes, it was terrible. You couldn't help. You couldn't help but watching it. I mean, you couldn't do anything. Terrible. Oh yes, that was a terrible ordeal.
What effect do you think that had on the people of Whitby? Do you think it brought the war home to them?
Oh yes, I do. Yes. I think it woke a lot up, But one thing and another, I mean, it's been a bit rough.
Well, the cliffs and everything to do with the sea is always a very dramatic thing.
Yeah.
Never to be trifled with.
There were some lifeboatmen who just got from
Just
Whitby,
got
just got decorated, hadn't
Yeah.
they?
Now, that rescue, they just got decorated in Whitby for last back end, rescue in the fog. That fishing boat from Scarborough. Yes, they had the Von Trump, it was called. And
Is that the one that's still there at Black now?
it would be, yes. They can't get them off, once they're on, they just wait for the sea to pound them up and that's it.
See, it's such a difficult coast. You see, that there's not much rock. The roller was just on a knife edge, flat on a rock, and it was just swaying like this. They swayed and swayed till you watched it break in two, and it nearly broke in half. To see it break in two, and the cries that went up from that ship was enough to kill you.
Yes. Dreadful thing. Dreadful. Because that was a hospital ship, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, now, are you tired? You've done very well. Very well.
Can I just ask you?
Won't be much good to you.
Another
Oh, it
question.
will.
Oh,
You said when you heard the rocket go up for the lifeboat for the Rohilla, you said Germans.
Yes.
Did a lot of people in Whitby expect an invasion or a
Oh yes, I think they did. I think a lot of people did. Yes. I mean, and they thought they'd tried, but you see, and they'd try and keep on trying. But I mean, I think they did. I think they were frightened of an invasion.
Yes. Were there a lot of soldiers in Whitby, do you remember, at that time?
Well, I don't think there was a lot just at that time. There was a lot when the war broke out. There was a lot of campers, a lot of camps around, but they all went. But I don't think we had such a lot.
Yeah.
Transport was all difficult.
But these soldiers and sailors, I tell you, that followed me on the road, they got it hot when authorities got onto But there's that in their posters.
Yes, yes, they should have stayed.
Did a lot of people leave Whitby?
Yes, quite a lot.
Did anybody leave sort of permanently after the bombardment?
Yes, I think they did, but that isn't quite clear, but I feel that they did, you know, yes.
Yes. Did anybody come in to see the damage? Tourists? Well, people sort of curious to see the damage in Whitby?
Well, yes. I mean, they were coming in all the time. I mean, perhaps not in such big numbers in a place like this, but I mean, people were always curious and wanted to know what had happened.
Of course, they're curious. I remember the first bombings in Hull, which was when the whole of Trinity was not burnt, it was saved. There's a story about that, the Holy Trinity Church in Hull. There was a big store and a block on fire, and the vicar at the time went up into the belfry and prayed for the wind to change so that the flames wouldn't blow onto Holy Trinity Church. And they say they did. The wind changed, you see. The wind changed. So the better story than I do. But I remember when I was just a tiny child going to look at the houses that had been bombed at the same time. And that was by a Zeppelin, of course. And I remember seeing the pictures still hung on the bedroom wall. You see, all the front of the house had fallen out. And the pictures were all skewy. And there was ornaments still on the mantelpieces, if you know the peculiarities of bombing. Some things it breaks and crashes to bits, and other things are left. And I remember that very well.
Yes,
I was about 3.
Roy Miller. That was only died about 3-4 years ago. 3-4 years ago, to be since he died.
Who was that?
Roy Miller.
Oh, yes, that's right. I remember reading it in the paper. You have some details about him, have you?
Yes, he actually wrote an account for the Scout magazine.
Oh, yes. So you have that.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it pieced together and made it a good story, yes.
But the funny thing was, after he retired from the bank, you know, he was in Barclays Bank. He was manager in Barclays Bank.
Oh, was he?
Yes, yes, all the time. He was there. He got a government grant, you see, for his education. And when he was fit, and he took on the bank management, and he was there all the time.
Bright boy.
And when he retired, he has a brother abroad somewhere, and he went on a cruise to visit him. And either as he went out or come back, he was shipwrecked.
Oh, well, that's unusual.
But they were all saved, I mean, but it was a nasty shipwreck and nasty experience, I think. He didn't live very long after that. I knew his sister very well.
Yes. Oh, you would know a lot of them.
Yes.
Do you remember there being any guns in Whitby? Any guns?
Guns in Whitby?
Do you remember there being any big guns on the cliffs in Whitby?
No.
I don't think it was defended at all.
No. It's just that, well, I think the Germans claimed that there were some guns at Scarborough and Whitby.
Oh, Scarborough. Scarborough might have been.
Oh, no.
You don't remember?
No big guns, no. Oh, they would claim anything.
Yes.
I think possibly Whitby was its own defence because it's a very bad harbour to get into.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to land, they could only have landed them on the beach and scale the cliffs. I think it would have been nearly impossible to get in a ship. A big ship now can get through, as you know, but I mean it has every attention. If they could have done all sorts to have stopped anything in the invasion line coming in. Sort of even chuck boulders at them.
But you see, these horses, which were in that bombardment, they didn't forget it for a very long time. They were bad to manage when they were harnessed, and they didn't seem to forget it for a long time.
Oh, they're scared. Oh, well, animals are very sensitive like that.
Yes.
That's why I asked if it put the cows off the milk, because they say when you get a low-flying aircraft, it can stop cows giving the milk, you know.
But I was They were very, very big fields, and they were right away down.
And further away,
down
yes.
the
Yes. Not active on the cliff tops.
But that hospital ship, I don't know. It was a terrible night, I'll tell you. Black, I think. And they said something had happened to it. Before it ran onto the cliffs, I don't know, it was driven on by the weather. But, you know, they were firing rockets all the time, and everyone missed the ship. Just didn't land. And you know the cries that went up were terrible. Really were terrible.
As near as that, they couldn't help
Yes.
it. I know everybody was always talking about the Royal, what a dreadful thing it was. Yeah, well, I'm tired now. I'm tired now. She's marvelous, isn't she? Wonderfully clear.
I didn't think my information was very much good.
Oh, it's very interesting.
Very good, yes.
Do you think a lot of people in the town were affected by the shelling? Do you think a lot of people in the town were affected by the shelling?
Oh, yes. A lot of people were very, very nervous, you know, and very upset. I'll tell you, these people who even run out in the night gowns and out into the street to be driven away.
Yes.
They were
I
in
can
an
remember all
awful
that sort
state.
of thing in the First World War. It was nothing for them when the Zeppelins were going over and the searchlights were on them, because in the town this was in Hull. And when you saw the Zeppelin in the lights, they all got so excited.
Yeah.
Men used to go out just in it, because they didn't wear pyjamas in those days. Nothing. We were in a fairly poor district. We had business in the centre of the town, and they used to, when this, you could hear the engines driving, then suddenly it would go through the beam, or the beam would just swing empty. Well, they all used to go mad. I mean, you couldn't do anything about it. There was no point in getting so excited. It was a mile up in the sky, half a mile anyway. But the actual thing that gets hold of people, the mass hysteria, they used to nearly go mad. And it was only because they could see it.
Did any
Once
Zeppelin...
you've seen it, have you?
Yes. Well, you wouldn't, I suppose all your windows would be broken, wouldn't they?
No. Didn't catch any thoughts at all. It sounds a bit further back. And they only had one route from, they couldn't, I think they couldn't move around to get the shells spread out, you see. They all had to come out and show to the same place, because they were too near the rocks, you know. They had to come too far in out of this mist.
Yes.
And I think they were mad.
Yes. Well, it was quite daring on the part of the German Navy, because what with mist on one side and rocks on the other, you'd have to be very
very close in.
very careful.
Yes. They couldn't do just as they liked.
I think it's a bit parallel with the first raids that were on this northeast coast of the Second War. You see, they were nuisance raids and intended to scare the population as much as they could. And it does scare you. I mean, we were very frightened right now. We were just on the outskirts of Hull. Later, in the Second World War, I was born in Hull. We came to the outskirts in the country outside. And people used to flock out to us. And our house was full every night. Because it really was bad, you know.
Well, it would be
it was very bad, yes. Well, things were just, it was just an inferno at night. It was never mentioned much because they would never give the enemy any information, you say. Just used to be a northeast coast town. But we knew all about being afraid.
Did you go down into the town to see the damage?
Did you go and see the damage?
Well, I did, but not at the moment. I didn't feel like
went back home.
I couldn't tell you what I did feel like. You know, sort of shocked, I suppose.
Yes, it is shocked.
Yes. Yes, it was such a surprise, you know. Never thought of such a thing. Never thought we would get through. Well,
because you know the first, about Group Captain Townend plane that was brought down.
Oh yeah.
Well, we used to have the boating down the river, you know, and that boathouse is it's a stone thing, built of stone blocks and that. But it got the first incendiaries of the war.
Did it?
And it was wooden one, you see. We have photographs somewhere, I don't know. No, it wasn't in our possession, we only had it this last 10 or 11 years. But the incendiaries dropped on that, and just one or two more across the fields, and the plane was brought down just somewhere over here on this top. And Group Captain Townsend had chased it and brought it down. It was the first kill of the war. And so that boathouse was the first casualty of the war. It was only about the second day. September the 3rd did the war start. It was about 4th and 5th. And it was just a nuisance really, you know, sent to scare people.
Sorry.
To be able to contact anybody else to give you any inspiration.
Yes, I have, thank you very much. I've had quite a number of letters and I've been able to do some interviews.
Oh, have you? Oh,
yes.
What's the oldest one you have?
I think you are, yes.
Mrs. Walker, you're the oldest one he's found any information from. And you're 92?
Oh.
94? Oh, you're only 92, 94. Oh, you're marvellous. Marvellous. You gave all that story and never broke. Oh.
Did people think that this coast would be safe because of the Royal Navy? Did people think that this coast would be safe because of the Royal Navy?
Because of the Navy? Did they think the Navy would look after you here? I don't think she gets that story. The Navy, the Royal Navy, did you think they would keep this coast safe?
Do I think they would? Well, I should sort of expect them to.
A very diplomatic answer.
No, did people think that they would? Were people surprised that the Royal Navy hadn't done anything?
Well, I think they were very surprised that the Germans had got through, you know.
Not so fast.
Yes.
That is a big place, isn't it? You see, there's no radar or anything in those days.
They were very cunning, you know.
Yes. And you think you get 10 miles square. That's only 10 miles each way, and then I'll see, and it's 100 square miles for one little ship, and that's only in 10 miles of it. And how wide is it from here to Germany? And nip out of the Emden, where it comes? And there's, I don't know how many million square miles when it's all letting up. So, and of course nowadays with radar, it is easy to find pinpoint things. Even that takes some time, doesn't it? Yes. Unless you're very near to them.
And you see, in the Second World War, they wouldn't leave me alone. Just out the back, just at the end of that wood, they put a landmine down there.
Did they?
Yeah.
They're after you, that's what it is.
True.
Yes.
And that was about 9 at night, not 9 in the morning. And somehow.
Because they were living here by
And
then.
all the pots jumped on the table. The doors went off, they were coming off altogether. And everything just seemed to be good.
Yeah.
Then they put another one just across the river there. They were aiming at the station, you see. And it was just a bit too far up. And they got into the side of the river.
Oh, they jiggled those landmines. Oh, they set your jaws on edge and the boom. You can't tell the explosion. It used to make your teeth sort of clench. Like that. Nasty noise, wasn't it?
Then they bombed. They put a bomb on Whitby station, you know. They got aeroplanes, zeppelins. They shattered all the glass in the station, but there was not enough framework left to see a lot of it. Well, instead of the railway taking all this down, they didn't. Well, it went on for a time. I used to go a lot in the train, and any buses ran. And one morning, well, all got to the train. But luckily, the train stopped it further back. It didn't go right down into the
station.
Into the station. We all got off there. But just walking along, all this lot came down. Just, as you might say, over your nose.
You had 9 lives like a cat.
Oh, that's only one thing.
Well, that's three things.
Yeah,
You wouldn't have been talking to us now, because that shell was too near to be nice.
Yeah.
A few yards further up, wham, you wouldn't have been here today.
I got in the bus one day. This is quite a long time ago. It was standing as it did, empty, to coming out. There was no driver in the seat. All of a sudden, the bus took off.
I don't know. Was this in Whitby?
Yes. Down the runway, across the road. And if you've ever noticed across the road, there's a very deep curve.
Yes.
It just, you took that and down and into the hotel wall and put a great hole in the wall. And where do you think we were?
That could have been nasty if
Yeah.
anything.
Shopping just went up like that.
I don't know.
Tell me, on the morning of the raid, you were delivering milk. Where did you deliver it to?
The Coast Guard.
Just the Coast Guard
Just the
cottage?
Coast Guard, yes. There was 7 houses.
Yeah.
There was 3 twos and then the head Coast Guard was nearest the trip. The head Coast Guard. Yes, 7 houses.
Yes. And what, you had a can of milk, did you? Did you have a can of milk?
Yes.
Could it be enamel, was it, or tin?
You measured it out with measures in those days, you see. And then bottles, yes. Yes, the cans had a...
It was a gallon can, was it? A big can?
Yes.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Have you ever seen them?
Yes, I know.
Yes,
so.
oval with a lid,
Yes.
and a measure you dipped in to measure your milk out.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes, I know. So.
Yes.
Yeah. They still have some of those at, I think they have 2 at least, in Pickering Museum.
Do
Yeah.
Things changed.
We might have them at this
Yeah.
museum. Yes, it all comes in a bottle now.
Yes.
In fact, they'll soon have it that the cows will bottle it themselves.
They soon won't be deliveries, will they?
I don't know. I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Anyway, they change too fast, you know.
Well, I think we've done marvellously well. We mustn't
Yes.
overtire because it
No.
is exciting.
Well,
You've done marvellously well.
I don't think I've given you much information.
Oh, you have.
Oh, yes.
No.
Well, I was fascinated.
Oh,
Funnily
I
enough,
was.
she just told me this story. I came down one morning to see how she was getting on with this thing. And she started telling me that why she thought she was deaf, you see, because of the shelling, and of course went on with the story. Well, I couldn't get away. I was so fascinated. And I saw your letter only about a couple of days after.
Well, thanks very much
Seemed
for
it
that.
just fitted in.
But I saw your letter before that.
In the Whitby Gazette?
Yes, that's right. I
put
haven't
it
seen that.
aside. I thought, well, I'm right. I never got through. I'm like that. I don't like writing letters.
Yeah.
But I haven't given up hope. You
And
know.
now you've lost it.
Oh.
Well, it seemed it just had to be, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll find some
Well,
interesting material, even if you only write it for your own pleasure. And I dare say, I tell you what, the Gazette, they have had a write-up about it. I remembered it during the 10 or 11 years we've been here. But
I'll have to go down to their
yes,
offices.
go
to
to
see
the
them
offices
something.
and see what they have. You might get a bit fuller one or written in a different style. You see.
Oh,
It
yes.
might be a bit stupid as to how whoever put it together again.
Well, it's always interesting. Yeah.
And I don't remember reading this about milk cans and the horses running
Oh,
away and
no.
all that sort of thing. You see, you might make something very different of it.
Well, thank you very much for talking to me. It's been very interesting. It really has.
Well, I didn't think it would be much good to.
You always say that. You're a wallflower.
No, what?
Now, isn't this useful when you're talking to anybody like this? So you must.
I was fairly glad to We shall cheer you, thank you, kiss you when you come back again. Well, that's how people at home felt. Optimistic, comfortable, safe. They were surrounded by the sea and guarded by the Navy. It was a British tradition to be secure. It was more than 2 centuries since the fire of an enemy had scorched these islands. But suddenly...
December the 6th, 1914. German battleships bombard Scarborough, Whitby, and the Hartlepool.
A recollection by Mr. Hyde, at that time a reporter on the Scarborough Evening News.
I went to bed and to sleep, and was awakened 2 or 3 minutes past 8 by crashes of shells bursting. The whole of the overcast sky was flickering with crimson shell bursts. Naturally, I was in a great hurry to get dressed. More or less continuously, there was broadside after broadside.
2 German battle cruisers were firing 12-inch and 6-inch shells at Scarborough.
It was so unexpected on this quiet morning that it really was frightening. About 25 minutes after the bombardment began, our house was hit by a shell. My bedroom was smashed to bits. I found 4 or 5 pounds of jagged steel embedded in my pillow. The gunfire ceased as suddenly as it began, and as a reporter I got onto the streets to see what had happened.
And one thing that naturally happened was a scare that the Germans were landing.
At that time, the newspapers had been full of pictures of refugees on the Belgian roads, and I saw pretty much the same thing. Motor cars and all manner of horse-drawn vehicles, hand carts, were going along the road, carrying loads of bedding and also conveying bedridden invalids. The damage was widespread, and of course, no one living in Britain had seen anything like this in our country. It was afterwards computed that between 500 and 700 shells had fallen on the town and the immediate district.
Mrs. Foster, formerly Dorothy Cass Smith, daughter of the harbour master at Scarborough.
I was a schoolgirl at the time. We lived inside the lighthouse, and at breakfast time we heard a noise like very loud thunder. Father thought that it would be safer if we left the lighthouse, so he told Mother to take me down the pier. Mother and I looked over the parapet and saw 2 big ships in the distance and the guns flashing, a bright orange like a furnace door being opened. So Mother took me down the pier, and as we were going down we saw all the men coming off the trawlers like a lot of scared rabbits. And we all went down together and sheltered under this parapet. And the thing I remember most was the tremendous noise. And the shells were flying over us, and we could see all the houses tumbling down like sand castles. The Grand Hotel was hit 2 or 3 times, and the old castle walls. We could see it all, and the noise was so tremendous because it reverberated against the castle hill. All of a sudden there was a lull. And Mother said, we haven't any money and we've left the deed box behind, so shall I go back? My mother returned to the lighthouse, but within 5 minutes she was back with us. She said, I didn't go in because just before I got there, a shell went right through the lighthouse tower.
Scarborough, Whitby, and the Hartlepools, 149.
Now the savagery of war was beginning to be brought home to civilians.
Christmas Eve, 1914. A German aeroplane flies over Dover and drops a bomb for the first time on English soil.
The very first bomb. And now, cutting right across the swiftly increasing bitterness, came the voice of Pope, he feared the warring government stay. It seemed as, or in the words of the Times newspaper,
the world is fuller of wounded and broken men than it has ever been in its history.
But the governments declined.
Our Christian initiative, said the Pope, was not crowned with success.
But what?
From Leslie Bailey's BBC Scrapbooks, Volume 1, 1896 to 1914, published by George Allen and Unwin Limited, in 1966. Perhaps the best reply to the attack on civilian morale lies in a story told by the present Lord Rhea, R-E-A, whose father was then MP for Scarborough. This is from a letter to the scrapbook. When a shell whistled through the drawing room of our house, our elderly housemaid struggled up through the debris to my mother's bedroom and said, "Have no fear, madam, we are in God's hands and cook's in the cellar."